if you want to be successful and take your business to the next level, it's all about getting more opportunities in your life. Hi, I'm Nils. I'm the co-founder of Instantly.ai, and in this video I'll show you several cold email tactics that you can use right away to get 5 or more additional sales opportunities, aka sales qualified leads for your B2B business every single day. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and let's get into it. Life is all about opportunities. The more opportunities you have, the better, because then you can just pick and choose the ones you like most, which leads to more fun and more profits. And in this video, I'll show you a couple of tactics, examples of how to generate more opportunities for your B2B business with cold email and Instantly AI. So, the more opportunities you have, the more opportunities you get. It's really an upward spiral, and you just have to get that initial momentum. Let me just show you a couple of examples. Each one of the following slides is just one day. Like in one day, we have all these interested leads coming in. People who are saying, yes, please share more information. Yes, let's set up a meeting. Let's set up a demo. Do you have a calendar link? Yes, please share more info. These are all interested leads that are coming in through the Instantly AI cold email campaigns. There's another example. All these interested leads coming in on a daily basis. Imagine if for your B2B business, you just have this stream, this waterfall of B2B leads coming in and saying, hey, yes, I'm interested to hear more. I'm interested in working together. Please share more info. Let's get on a call. What's your calendar? Like very consistently on a daily basis, having all of these leads come in. Another example, one more example. And the reason why I'm showing you all of this is I really noticed, how much action people take is determined by how much belief they have that something is going to work with you. So I just want to show you a lot of proof, and so you can make up your own mind. And then if you're convinced that this is going to work for you, also know that you're going to take more action, launch more campaigns. And the more campaigns you launch, the more good campaigns you launch, the more interested leads you're going to have coming in, You're going to have more results, which cements your belief that this works, and it really accelerates you taking action. So it's a positive feedback loop that we want to get into, the upward spiral that I mentioned. I showed you a couple of our internal campaigns here, but let me also show you a couple of other examples. For example, Oscar, 2.5% appointment booking rate, just from 351 contacted, he got 9 opportunities. We have Royan with 48 opportunities for that campaign. Madur with 24 opportunities. We have Casper with 38 opportunities just from his Instantly campaign. Surab with 21 opportunities from that particular campaign. Matt with 8 opportunities from just 458 contacted, and Gus Levitate with 747 opportunities in just a time span of 4 weeks here. And we also have Tristan, 5 opportunities from just 349 contacted. And I'll leave these guys' Twitter handle in the description of this YouTube video. You can go check it out. But yeah, these are all people running Instantly campaigns and generating more opportunities for themselves, generating more opportunities for the B2B business. And when you have this stream of leads coming in, business becomes much less difficult. It's not as difficult anymore when you have constantly people knocking on your door and saying, hey, yes, I'd be interested in hearing more about what you have to offer. And I'll put these links in the description. Now, cold email alchemy, Basically what we're doing here is we are just turning ideas and text a certain angle, certain strings of words together, and we're sending that pitch, that email to businesses that could be interested in what we have to offer. So we're just turning ideas and text on a screen into real life opportunities, into real businesses coming back to us and buying our services, contracting our services, and for us to grow our B2B business, our agencies. So let me just jump into a couple of tactics, We talked a little bit about high level, what this looks like, opportunities, but let's jump into the nitty gritty on some specific tactics that can be applied here. Scaling tricks. So the first one I like to look at here is secondary sending domains, right? When we do our outreach with cold email, we don't want to be sending from our main domain. We're gonna buy secondary sending domains. These are kind of our harpoons and arrows. We're gonna take domains that sound similar to our main domain. So let's say if I was a lead generation agency, and I have a good tool here from Namecheap, which makes this super easy. It's called Beast Mode, and you can just type in the keyword of your main domain or what your main business is called, and it will show you all the alternatives. This is kind of like the throwaway domains that we can use for our outreach. We don't want to do cold outreach from our main domain. So let's say I have a lead generation agency or whatever it may be, or maybe it's a branding agency, maybe it's a recruiting firm, maybe it's a B2B SaaS. It all works. Just think about your own name and company name. Let's say I'm going to go with the example of a lead generation agency that's called SalesFeed. I'm going to click this button here, append prefix and suffix, and then I'll look for .coms. From our experience, .coms have the best deliverability, better deliverability than for example XYZ or .info or .net. It's what we've seen. Country extensions or country domain names like FR, DE, NL, BE, DE. These can also have good deliverability, but as a default, I'll always take .coms. Then you can click generate here, and it will show you a bunch of domain names that are available. And then, we can just buy these domain names and set up users under these domain names as well. So, for example, here you'll see, Open SalesFeed, SalesFeed App, SalesFeed Lab, SalesFeed Hub, SalesFeed HQ. So we just buy these secondary sending domains, and we'll do all the cold email outreach through those. And then you can buy them. You can either buy them directly from Namecheap or you buy them for GoDaddy. Both work well. And then what you want to do is you want to set up 5 users per domain, and then you have 5 to 10 domains per workspace. So 5 email addresses for each domain that you buy. You can have 5 email addresses, and then for each email address you can send 50 cold emails per day. So that's a good scaling trick, right? So you're not limited by how many emails your main domain can send. You just buy additional domains and you do all the sending for there. This is very scalable, right? You can, if you need to send more volume, you just buy more domains. Domains are cheap. They're just $10 and you're good to go. Then another important part of cold emailing are the lead sources. So here are a couple of lead sources that I recommend. This is where you get the email addresses of your target audience from. It's Apollo, Find Email, Lead Hype, Crunchbase, Clay, Launch Gravity, Build with Pro, Scraper. These are all B2B lead sources that we've used ourselves and that work well, that have quality and volume data. So these are some that I recommend if you're not sure where to get, the leads information, the leads email addresses from. Then next step is provider matching, ESP matching. We just recently released this feature. So let's say, you have sending accounts, some are on G Suite, some are on Outlook, and you upload a lead list, and let's say half of the lead list are people who are using Outlook, and then the other half of the lead list is people who are using G Suite or Google. It will match it. So Outlook will only send to Outlook and Google will only send to Google, which helps with deliverability and making sure you land in that primary inbox and not in the promotions folder or in the spam folder. So this is something that you can turn on in the advanced settings of Instantly, and it helps and boosts your deliverability when doing cold outreach. Next tactic here, next cold email idea to get more opportunities is the optimal number of steps in a cold email sequence. So we've analyzed over 32 million cold emails. We've hired a super smart data analyst from Poland, and he went through this huge data set and we ask some questions, some queries to find out, some best practices, not just rumors that are out there, but we actually wanted to know based on data, on real life data, what's best. One of those questions was, hey, like how long does a cold email sequence have to be? And here we're gonna see the answer. So let me just open this document, and what we can see here, the optimal number of steps in a cold email sequence. What we found is that the optimal number of steps in a sequence is 2 to 3 steps. So you can see, right, the majority of the replies really come in on step 1. Here it says 0, but that's actually the step 1 of the sequence. 1 is the step 2, and 2 is the step 3 of the sequence. You can see roughly 87% of all replies come in within the first 2 steps. You can add a third step, but if you're starting out or if you're intermediate, I wouldn't recommend having 6, 7, or 8 steps in your sequence. You can see how the drop-off here is in terms of reply rate, percentage of replies that are coming in. So if you're sending a 5th or 6th or 7th follow-up and they still haven't responded, it can lead, it's more likely that they'll be annoyed, that they'll mark it as spam, or that you'll get bounces. If you keep sending emails but you never get a reply, it can hurt your domain's sending reputation. So just, it's basically an 80-20. Keep the sequence to 2 to 3 steps, unless, right, you're really a deliverability expert, you're really good at cold email copywriting. You could get away with like adding a 5th or 6th step, but that's up to you. I would really recommend, if you're starting out, just keep it to 2-3 steps. So that's the optimal number of steps in a cold email sequence. Let's jump to the next idea, to the next cold email concept to get more opportunities, is the funny follow-up. So let me just show you an example of some of replies of one of the best working follow-ups out there. Is funny, endearing GIFs, memes, or images. So right, we have this usually the first step in the cold email sequence is really just a plain text email. You start with a relevant, maybe personalized first line, then you jump into the pitch, the case study, the value proposition, and then the third block in the cold email is the call to action. That can either be a soft call to action like, hey, interested to hear more, or a more hard call to action. It says, hey, do you want to get on a call together to discuss this? But that would be the first email. And then what you say in the follow-up, right? What we've seen in the follow-up, you can either use something like thoughts, ? Or you can say, hey, are you the right person to discuss this with? Or is there somebody else at company name that I should be directing this to? And you can say this, or you can just use funny GIFs just to break the ice. For example, right, this would be the step 2 of the sequence. You can say, hey, first name, if I'm not able to get your attention, I do hope that this cute little penguin will be able to insert the GIF of the penguin, and then you transition into the pitch. And you have a lot of people here saying, hey, penguin wins, tell me about the strategy and the costs. You got my attention with the penguin. I would be interested in knowing more about it. And some people don't even mention, the funny GIF or whatever it may be, or the meme, but they just say, hey, let's connect on a call, right? You got their attention, you warmed them up a little bit, and then they were more receptive for your pitch and more likely to get on a call. Love to learn more, tell me more about this, sure, I'd be interested, get more details, would like to talk more, interested in meeting, let's book a call. Right, this is really stuff that works in the follow-ups. Use with caution though, right? You have to know your target audience well. Some people are more, some segments in the market, some industries are more professional than others. So, just know your target audience and kind of think about what would resonate with them in terms of like a funny GIF or not. But this is something that you can use to get more positive replies and get more cold email opportunities. International campaigns. This is also something that can work. Don't be, if you have a B2B business that can fulfill internationally in your English speaking, there's also all these other countries in the Middle East, Israel, Ireland, Scandinavia, Australia, New Zealand, Baltics, Singapore, Panama, they all speak English, and they can be another target audience, right? You do not only have to target the US. There's also plenty of other countries outside of the US that you can target, or you can target them in their native language, in Spanish, for example, in Mexico or other countries in South America, right? When you're doing B2B, businesses usually have good money, CEOs, they can make the decision, and they have the funds to contract the service. So this is another idea that you can keep in mind. Then leveraging ChatGPT, right? Spin tags. Basically, what this does is spin tags your cold email. And here I'll add this presentation into this YouTube description. But what this will do is we'll put some spin tag structure, and it will pick the main word, and then it will define the synonyms, and then it will rotate those words inside of the copy, which will lead to, you know, hundreds if not thousands of different variations of that initial email. And in the past you had to do this manually, but now you can just have ChatGPT, you can give it this prompt, and then you tell it what the cold email is, and it will automatically, you know, add this structure here. And this is the structure that's needed in order for, you know, the tool, Instantly AI, to recognize when it will spin the words inside of the cold email copy and create all these unique variations. In the past you had to do this manually, and it was pretty tedious just to do this manually, but now just with a prompt you can have the AI do it all. Then next one is non-reply conversions, right? A lot of the times what happens is people will read your cold email, right? You land it in the primary inbox, they click it, they read it, they say, hey, this is relevant to me, hey, this is an interesting value proposition, wow, they also have a case study that's really convincing, they have a call to action, but before I reply to them, let me check out the domain. And this is how a lot of prospects think, and they'll type in the domain, and your secondary sending domain should redirect automatically to your main domain. They type it in, they will see your main domain, they will look at your website, they will look at your video sales letter, look at your LinkedIn, your marketing materials, and then book a call directly. But you know, this, what I call them non-reply conversions, right? They came from cold email, but they didn't convert by replying saying, hey, I'm interested, let's get on a call, but they converted by going to your website and booking a call from your website. And but this won't happen, you know, if your website is shoddy, or there's no proofs or no VSL or no other indicators or case studies or social proof on your website or on your presence. So you really need proof that you know your stuff outside of the cold email as well. So you can read, this is another way to get more opportunities to increase your positive reply rate. You know, make sure, especially your website, where they land, if they type in your domain, where they land, how that looks like. This helps boost your results. Then last kind of concept or idea of this video is, you know, master the rules and then break the rules. Ken Allen really posted an awesome Twitter thread the other day where he went into, hey, like, there's all these kind of traditional cold email rules, but he's breaking a lot of these rules and getting great results. And for example, right, we had always this traditional rule, plain text. Just have a plain text in your first email, no HTML, no image, no media. But then there's people that come along and they just make up their own mind, and they just have a calendar link in the very first email, or they have an image or a video in the first email. Now, me personally, I wouldn't recommend this, but you know, once you've mastered kind of these basics of cold email, then you can break these basic rules again, and you know, just throw in a calendar link in the very first email of the sequence. You can do that too. Find your own way once you've have the basics down. You know, some people, I've said this also in the past, turn off open tracking. I always turn off open tracking, but then I hear people like having really good results with open tracking on, or you know, using no signature, but then there's people saying, yeah, you know, I'm getting really good results thanks, or with my signature too. So the point here is, right, don't get too caught up in specific rules. You can, if you're already getting results and you've already launched like, let's say over 10 campaigns, feel free to break some of these rules and you'll find a new angle and a new twist on something that can work really well for you. But yeah, this is it. We have a bunch of tactics here that you can implement, some scaling cold email tricks and tips and tricks and strategies, and talk to you soon. We can cut this out, Tristan. Just pick one of the tactics that I mentioned and implement it this week, and then implement another one next week, and so on. And that's how you build momentum. You know, be consistent, launch campaigns, and before you know it, you'll have a steady stream of potential clients interested in working with you. All right, that's a wrap. If you got any value from this video, make sure to like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.